Hello racers, and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to take a look at continue our series of the chassis setup guide reviews, and we're going to take a look at the XXX-Main chassis setup guide. Now these review series, what we'll do is we take a look at who wrote the book, who reviewed the book, and take a look at some of the content that's in there. So, XXX-Main Chassis Setup Guide was a book authored by Martin Crisp back in 2002. I had the chance to meet Martin Crisp. He actually signed my copy. I was pretty surprised I actually had one. And we met at the Canadian Nationals in about 2018. That was interesting. He was a good fella. Answered a few of my questions and setup. As a author, Martin Crisp is a scale racer. He raced 1-to-1 scale, so he was into autocross racing. And what he did is he applied his full scale racing understanding to iRacing and RC. Martin Crisp is a racer at the national level, so I met him at the Canadian Nationals, but he raced many times at the Snowbirds, U.S. Indoor Champs, IIC. So he's a very capable racer. In 2014, rctech.net, he authored a series called Ask Martin Crisp, where people would ask him touring car related questions and he'd answer with some setup help. And he also had a website called learnsetup.com, which covered pretty much all the items that are in this book, but on a website that you could log in, do your research as to how to set your car up. This book was reviewed by Chris Tossolini, gave it the thumbs up. He was at the time in 2002, he was a European racer, raced on-road. He attended the Worlds racing. He won the Winter Nats in Florida. So at the time, he was one of the top tier racers. So it's good to have him give the okay. And the other one was Josh Cyril. Now Josh, he is a 43 times Roar national champ for on-road racing. Raced 1/12th, 1/10th pan cars, raced touring cars. So he would race and won in Snowbirds, Canadian Nationals. So again, well respected review from that fella. The elephant in the room here is XXX-Main. Kind of an unusual publisher. What I found, and I looked at my sticker collection, XXX-Main is known for their graphics and stickers. When image is all that matters. Most of their sticker sheets were all characters, some flames, inside skins. So they teamed up with Martin Crisp to release this book. I've seen a version of this book just with a blue cover. I don't know if it was like a demo that was being given out, but the two of them met, and XXX-Main, which is a Canadian company, and Martin Crisp, who at the time was living in Canada, they got together to release this book. This book is laid out. It's one of the very first books that I found. The way that Martin laid it out is he organized all the settings by order of priority. So he'd say first step, deal with tweak, tires, springs, camber, and ride height. Second thing to do was droop, sway bars, toe. And third was your fine tuning, one ways, shock oil, caster, anti-squat, roll center. And through the book, we'll take a focus on roll center to see how different books in the series talk about it. It's fairly misunderstood, so we'll focus on the roll center in this book. He also, for each one of the settings, he broke it down by corner entry, mid corner, and corner exit. And because the settings, and I printed out a little page so we could think about it together. The settings depend how you would change things depends on where the thing happens in the corner. So if you notice the thing is spinning out on corner entry, that's the time when the front is loaded. If it's spinning out on corner exit, that's when the rear of the car was loaded. So he organized the book by when in the corner should you make a change. So each one of the settings, so it's all ordered. You can see weight transfer he looked at first, tires and inserts. So you go through it by order of priority, how he specified in that first section. It was so important, he specified it again. One thing that I put a sticker on here is something to consider: a fixed front diff. So at the time in 2002, the front of a touring car would have a diff in the front, or a one-way. Two different types of differentials. And then he was saying sometimes a fixed front diff works well. Well, since 2002, I don't think there's any touring car that's on the market now that has any other thing than a fixed front diff. So he was on to something back then. So good work, Martin. The section on, we'll just kind of focus on the roll center section. You can see that, within any particular setting, you describe with some primitive diagrams what roll center is, comparing the roll center to the center of gravity, for instance. Have some explanation on how to calculate it, how it's determined, and such. And then, a write-up of how to change things with explanations. Just take a look at the summary. So in summary, back in 2002, with low traction tracks, you want the car to roll more to increase traction, and on high traction tracks, you want the car to roll less to prevent from flipping and have quicker steering response. So back in 2002, tracks were the gray CRC carpet. There wasn't a whole lot of grip unless you got to a big event. And these were the typical settings. You want the car to roll in a low grip situation. You want the car to stay flat in high grip. Now there are some nuances to that we'll explore through the whole series, but back in 2002, that's what you did. And then you can see here is the table of what he called the cheat sheet. But so you had the explanations, and then it got down to here's the cheat sheet, where we'll just take a look at the first one. Scenario A: car is too loose while entering a corner off power. So we're into this situation, entering a corner off power in the entry, and the car is loose or spinning out. The reason, you get like a 1 or 2 sentence reason: too much weight being transferred to the front, and what he suggests to do first and then second. So first, raise the front roll center. Second, lower the rear. Yep, so that gives you an idea. So one thing that I found a little bit funny with these little cheat sheets is that at first it talks about loose when entering a corner, and then exiting a corner is down here. And then we have pushes while entering a corner. I kind of wish that the corner entry was like a grouping of loose and push, and then you had an entry for mid, and then followed up with the corner exit, just to kind of make it easier to find. But that's the way it was organized. It was more focused on loose was a section, and then push was a section. So that's how we organized it. And then in the end of the book is almost an appendix. He had a quick summary guide where he once again told you the order to do things, talked about one-ways versus differentials, and then on the very back, what to do, what adjustment, and when to do it. Loose off power, on power push. So, XXX-Main chassis setup guide. Back in 2002, when you had a question, this is how you did it. In hindsight, how does this hold up? I asked him that when I was when I was getting him signed. I said, with this book, is there anything that you would change in it now that you've had, you know, a few years past to think about it? And he said, no, the book is based on the fundamentals, so he wouldn't have changed things as he wrote it. So I found that interesting that he said that. Would I buy this book now as part of my collection? Yeah, I certainly would. If I could only have one book, would this be it? I don't think that this would be the book that I would have. It doesn't cover every setting, and it is a little bit confusing the way that the cheat sheets are laid out. So if I had a collection of books, certainly this is going to be mine, and it is mine. But if it's the only one I could have, there are others in the series that we should be looking at, and that's what we're going to do. So thank you very much for watching the video. If you like this kind of thing, like it. If you want to see some other type of topics, just put a comment below, and subscribe if you want to see the rest in the series as I publish them. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next video.